Next up is 44, and we're revealing the hidden formats to reveal how the writers first wrote, and they are in a format. It just depends on what format we find to know what we're talking about here. But, whoops, how come? Oh, I know. It goes like that. Now we've got this. Okay, that's the text I'm starting with. And then, what am I, 26? Okay, I gotta work a little faster here to get to this, to the answers here. Greater we have heard with our ears, for our forefathers have told us. Told us the wonders you done that did in the days of old. In their days. I'm gonna sit there and correct that later. Wonders. Because dividing the sea for people to walk on the dry ground, that, you know, that's the wonders that we're talking about here. In the days of old. The wonder, fathers have told us your wonders, the wonders you did in their days, in the days of old. Yeah, I would have to just get rid of this. In the days of old, in the days of past. In not days, it would be in the years of old. But you with your own hand did drive out the nations. Then you did plant them. You did afflict the peoples when you spread them abroad. Okay, now this text is starting to talk about a recap here. It sounds like they're in captivity up here. You did afflict you because he did bring upon because if they didn't follow his commandment, he also promised them if they didn't follow him, he would send them into captivity. So he did cast them into captivity. Then you cast them into captivity. By their own sword, they did not possess the land, and by their own arm, they did not save themselves. But your right hand and your arm, and the light of your presence, you did favor them. You are my king creator. Command, although we know it's not Jacob, it's got to be Israel. And this would be Israel as a nation. Okay, and not the man. Command victories for, I would say, wait a second, your nation. He led them out. Because this is okay. Through you we will push back our adversaries. Through your name we will tramp down. Through your name, or by your name, through your name, we will tramp down those. We will tramp down those who rise up against us. For I will not trust in my bow, nor will my sword save me. But you have saved us. You will save us from our adversaries, and you have put shame to those who hate us. In our Creator we boasted all day long, and we will give thanks to your name forever. Yet you have rejected us. Well, wait a second. Yet you have rejected us and brought us to dishonor. And do not go out with our armies. You cause us to turn our back from our adversaries, or to your adversaries, and those who hate us have taken spoil for themselves. You gave us as rams to be eaten. That's just an odd way of putting it, I would say. And have scattered us among the nations. You sold your people cheaply and have not profited by their sale. You make us a reproach to our neighbors, a scoffing and desertion to those around us. You make us a byword among the nations, a laughingstock among the peoples. All day long my dishonor is before me, and my humiliation has overwhelmed me, because the voice of him who reproaches, as the voice of him who reproaches and reviles, because of the presence of the enemy. All this has come upon us, but we have not forgotten you, and we have not dealt falsely with your covenant. Our heart has not turned away. Our hearts have not turned away from you. And our steps have not deviated. Now this word way, if you've been following along, I didn't save it over here. Way becomes way of life. Let me see here. This, and data for your way of life for us. Our steps have not deviated from your way of life from us, way of life for us. Yet you have crushed us. You have crushed us. With the shadow of death. I'm trying to make sense out of that. In a place of jackals and covered us. I guess it's divided here. If we have forgotten the name of our Creator, or extended our hands to a strange God. Now this would be this God. More and more I'm getting to believe that this word is, or this EL, which is English letters for the Hebrew letters that go there. I think from now on I'm going to put it in, and then have to choose between which one, and the text will end up looking to a strange God, because that seems to be working really a lot here lately. Would not our creator find this out for you? For you know, not knows the secrets of our hearts. So this needs to be added here. This needs to be added here. This needs to be removed. Secrets of our hearts. But for your sake, for your covenant, before your covenant, or your promises, because he made a promise that if they fall away, for your promise, and we know the promise he's talking about, we are killed all day. We are killed all daylight long. The writer seems to have forgotten again. We considered as rams. I don't know if this verse even is going to make it. Arouse yourself? I don't think so. Why do you sleep? Creator doesn't sleep. Do not reject us. This is almost like that. And this, rise yourself for us. rise up. And I wouldn't write it like that. Rise up. I'd have to get rid of the word yourself. Rise up for us. And I'd have to put YV here. And then what I would do is I'd say I'd be adding it from here. I just switched it around. Well, I guess I would say do this. Copy, get rid of, and put it here. And then like that. Rise up for us, YV. Do not reject us forever. Why hide your face? Why hide your face and forget us from our afflictions and oppression? For our hearts have fallen. For our hearts have fallen. Fallen. Our bodies cleave to the earth. I don't know about that either. Rise up to be our, rise up to rise up to be our help. And redeem us by your love kindness for us. You think that's close? Because not for the sake of your love kindness, and redeem us by your love kindness. Okay, go through this once more. That wasn't bad. Greater we have heard with our ears, for our forefathers have told us the wonders you did in the days of old. With your own hand. You let us, you let them. You let them drive out the nations. This is talking about the wonders he did in Egypt. They crossed the Red Sea. They went into, or they conquered. No, yeah, and then here, this one here is talking about. Then it was they drove out the nations. Now this nations, let me show you what's going on here, just so you have an idea of the promised land here. Now, actually, they couldn't get through here, so they traveled through here, and then this is where Edom people are, and those are the nation Edom, and those were their brothers, or Jacob's brother Esau moved to, and they became a nation here. And these are mounts, by the way. And then they traveled around these rivers, and when they got here, or Edom let them pass, okay? And when they got here, they conquered these people here. Now there's two nations here, and yet there's three. What is it? Amon and I can't remember. But then right here is where I'm saying they crossed the river, and now they're into the promised land. And this is what the story is telling us. With your own hand, you let them drive out. With your own hand, you let them drive out those nations. Those nations. Then you did, then I guess it planted it's a word I would argue with. I'd have to look it up to see if this really could be changed. You planted them in their land, and that being the promised land. You did plant them in their land. And maybe this would be the verse that I'm seeing. Then you planted them in their promised land. And I would say that I better change these to all, because when I'm adding a complete verse, I'm doing it this way, and that's just to show and remind that I built the format, because I'm a pretty good guesser at that. You did plant them in their promised land. Now there's a bunch missing because it takes a long time now. Let's see. Because I want you to understand that all of a sudden, this land here, you notice I don't have a name on here. That's because this was West or East Manasseh. Okay, here's West Manasseh, here's East Manasseh, but this land was conquered first by them in coming out of Damascus. And then this is Assyria, and Assyria is pretty much Turkey. And they came down and they took the land, but they left these three, I believe, the first time, and then they took the last three. So when we're looking at the king's list here, I want to show you the timing to make sure you're aware of the times. Here is this king lost East Manasseh that I was telling you about, and then way down here this king loses this king here loses these here, and then down here, oh, it's Ephraim, Dan, and Benjamin. Okay, so my mistake. They did take everything on the other side of the Jordan, but then it comes, and you can see all these years. Now I'm so accurate with these years, it's not even funny. This is how close my accuracy is with those numbers, and there's years of study in here to get those dates correctly. But the object is yes, this is what happened here. Now, because the way the king is talking, he's still alive over here, like there's still something left of the people. See, you did afflict the people. Did afflict. Now see, I could put in East Manasseh here and use I would say sent them into captivity. I think that's more of a correct word. He didn't spread them, he sent them, because remember, we're talking about knowledge of understanding his promises. You did afflict East Manasseh and sent them into captivity. They didn't just go out for a joyride. By their own land, they did not possess the land. Okay, now there is there is a king. Let me see, get the promised land here. Now, when I think it was Ezekara, now you have to understand a little bit here that I got to fill you in. But this is, I got this wrote as the beginning and coming in. Let me see if I got, has this got it? Okay, yes, Samara. Now what it is that down here, this here, area right here, let me, this here is Bethel, okay? Now that is the first capital of the kingdom of Israel when Creator divided the two at the time of Rehoboam. And then later, this Samaria becomes the second capital, okay? And there is battles that are going on. That example, when they're over here battling for this place here, this king is overthrown, or not overthrown, but a prophet sends his attendant to anoint Jehu as king. But the object here is I'm going to show you that in a minute in the list of kings. But here they were out to battle, and I think it's before this happens that this battle happens. These guys go out to, I think, help over here, and they couldn't get a lot of people to go and help keep that land. And I'm just thinking it was the Ezekarians that gathered themselves together with the king that was here and went over here, and they lost. Okay, now if that's this battle, this means that I've got the wrong map up here. I need this one here. This one here. Aram came in and took it. The people called Aram. So this might be the text from this time. This is really getting a pinpoint location on the land, because by their own sword they could not possess land. Our Creator told them not to go. I mean, the prophet was sent and told them not to go. And that's how that happened. So you did afflict, and I would say, if I knew how to spell Manasseh, I would put Manasseh here, where that would have been east. Manasseh, Mennessh. I don't think so. Let me see here. Maaheh. He is here. A is here. A is here. And that would be the truthfulness of this verse. You did afflict, you did cast. I would say you did cast off East Manasseh, for just some words to be more, because you didn't afflict them. He cast off East Manasseh, then you sent them into captivity. For by their own sword they did not possess the land. That dates this now to there, okay? And we can see that I've got 4 verse, 4 verse, 4 verse. But there's this time that now, this is what happens when you have a lot of knowledge up here. And only our Creator gives that to me. So I need to thank him later tonight for sounding so good here doing this one. But the object is that because they couldn't save themselves by their own sword, they did not possess the land, their land. They couldn't save them. So what I wanted to do was bring up the map here, the kings, because one, what I was telling you about, it was Jehu that was made the king at that battle, though he was already, but the first battle here we can see is here at this time. Okay, I think this is really cool to know that this is what happened. Okay, and this king is actually a son of Solomon. Okay, I think he was his youngest son that they made king over here. But the object is he lost East Manasseh. Okay, and what I told you about the second king capital was of Israel, it was not made at this time. So they were in despair all over the place. I guess they were, see, this is why I say Jeroboam made the altar in Bethel, and he stopped them from coming into Jerusalem and said, so he proclaimed this is their most important place in theirs, and that's pretty much saying it's now the capital city of the kingdom. There is no text saying this. It's just that you have to understand that the importance of Bethel becoming the center place for the people and not Jerusalem. They did not possess by their own sword they did not possess. And here I'm pretty sure that it was the Ezekians that went out to help them. But maybe they had to fend for themselves, is what this text is saying. I'd really have to go back and check the story. And by their own arm they did not save themselves. And by their own arm they did not save themselves. But by your right hand, right arm, light of your presence, for you did not favor them. Now, and this is going to be tribes. This is now going to be tribes. If I'm reading this, if I'm editing this correctly, I mean, if this is making sense to you as it is to me, why it's that he sent them into captivity by their own, there's only one place that it can be. I mean, the first being sent into captivity. But the text seems to be separated here, like as if we got two stories. And I'm trying to keep tying it here. You are our creator. Making the plea as a king, you plead for everybody. That's your responsibility, is to be over the people. They did not save them for, watch this, for your right hand did not favor them. Now we have 4 verse right there. And by your own arm, oh, by their own arm, they did not save themselves. For by your right hand, you did not favor them. Okay, now that all ties together. Okay, now we know that that's the story above. What's the story below here? Okay. This might run into an hour long here. I might have to make this part 1 and part 2, but I did not know I was going to do that, because that was a lot of thinking that it took to get to the situation, and I'm pretty sure that's how this is corrected. It can't be, there's not another point in history there that I know of that that they try to defend themselves. And like I said, I'm thinking the stories as Akara brothers join their brothers, and a prophet come out and said, no, they're the ones that have went on to marry the daughter of a female goddess. In fact, it was another tribe warning the rest of the tribes about what East was doing by making idols of her to be passed out and to be, hey, take a look at our idol. We have something better than our creator. We can see her, and it's not really a her. Did not favor them. You are our creator and command victories for your tribes. and command victories for your tribes. Although through you we will push back our adversaries. I'm trying to divide that into two here. Through you, we will push back our adversaries. Okay, so now they're talking about pushing these people out of there. So what king would have been there, and what king do we have? Omar. Because if he lost it, that was maybe it's him that lost it. Maybe we have two choices. We have one of these two kings is the words that we're finding here, I'm thinking. Through your name we will trample down those. But the only thing is let me pull that back up. Neither of them are a good king. See, they're both. The first good king is Ahab, and I know he had to be brought back, slapped around a little bit to come back to be our creator. That was at the time, I think it was Elijah that had him gather a bunch of the prophets to the goddess there, and then he built the altar out of stones and said, you cut up a bowl and I'll cut up a bowl, and whose ever God answered is the real God. And when Elijah asked for our creator to accept his offering, fire came down from heaven, and all of a sudden the king decided, yeah, I think that's our creator. So Ahab needed a little help. So, but that's so many years after. But the thing here is maybe that is. Because they captured land, they didn't get it back. Through your name, through you will push back our adversaries. We will push back our adversaries through your name. Command victories for your tribe. And that would have been, maybe it's like this and like this. Because I read ahead and I realized that this verse and this verse go like that, so this was going to be left out there alone. And this is pretty much, I think I had to add the word you here, but that's, I think that's how it is here. We will trample down those who rise up against us. For I will not trust in my bow, nor will my sword save me. And Ahab would have, yes, if he came about, this would have been true. But because I'm thinking that was also when they were invaded too. I mean, they started coming over, and then the prophet, I can't remember, it has to be Elijah, I don't know which, I can't remember who came first there. I think it's Elijah. He anyways, in my mind, they entered to take them over, and they were such a small group that I guess on the hillside, when they lined up for battle, they were on the hillside and you could see all of them over there, and they said that they're like a small herd of rams or goats. But that king, uh, yeah, they went out and they chased him out. So here, we will push back our adversaries through your name, because that's exactly, yeah, I'm thinking we got text from Ahab here. I really do. Although I have to check to see if that is him. But yes, he's one of those kings routs them out only because our Creator was with them, not because there was more many than him. And then, yeah, that's a good read. Um, we will trample them down who rise up against us, for I will not trust in my bow nor a sword to save me, but you have saved us. Yes, for you have saved us. But for you have saved us from our adversaries, and you have put them to shame. Yeah, because they were such a little group, and that would be putting them to shame. And then this doesn't need to be there. Put them to shame. It would have to be something like now, because now it come about him. Now, my Creator. Now, my Creator. We boast. Now, my Creator, we will boast of you. We boast of you all day. Yes, they would be boasting that they just turned away a great army. Hey, I'm liking this when I can put almost the story with the right king, and I'm pretty sure I'm got that right, the right name. This text is coming from him, which I'd have to find out the order of, but this is good. This is good. I'm gonna put 48 here, 48 minutes. Because now what I'm doing, I'm going to try to keep it right about to an hour. I'm going to try to go another 10 minutes. And then go through, hey, look, I'm surprised. Didn't need any editing. Okay. We will give thanks to your name forever. Oh, wait a second. We boast you all day. Yet you have rejected us and brought us dishonor. Now I'm not sure. This is, I'm pretty sure where this text come from. Okay. And either that is added or it's missing. I'm not going to decide that now. I'll wait until later. Yet you have rejected us and brought us to dishonor, and do not go out with our armies. You cause us to turn away from our adversaries. From our adversary. I'm not seeing, whoops. Is this is what, just going to add it here. Their nations. You sell your people cheaply, you have not profited by their sale. You make us a reproach to our neighbors, a scoffing and a desertion. If the land was empty, they were those around us. You make us a byword among the nations, a laughing stock among their people. Their people. All day my dishonor is before me, and my humiliations overwhelm me. Because of the voice of them who reproaches and revile. Because the presence of the enemy. The avenger is someone who goes after how can I explain this? When somebody was if somebody kills somebody and did it on purpose, the family or even those from the village, the elders would sign an avenger to go and kill that person. Now that person, if they didn't kill the person by willingly just doing it, he could run to a refuge city and have the Levites look into his case and then judge him whether he was done it by accident or hopefully it was done by accident, and then he was to they would take him back to the land or his land and then tell the people that they looked into it and it was an accident, and now he has to make an offering to be forgiven for killing unwillingly. Okay, so that is the wrong use of the word, because of the present, which is revile, who reproaches and reviles. This isn't really tying together. All this has come upon us. We have not forgotten you. trying to see if I'm supposed to be breaking this into 4 or 2 now that we've got a bunch of 2's here. This 2 would look to be hooked together. Oh. They've turned away from now this seems to be, I'm gonna have to think as I'm going here. Miles us. Now at the presence of the enemy. No, at now at the presence of our enemy or enemies, this has come upon us. All this will come upon us. But you will cause us to turn away from our adversaries and we'll take spoil. Meaning like slaughter and cast them into other nations. If I change one word here, and yet since they lost the battle, this would hook together then, because they took him into captivity, and then he's talking this, and then he's talking that with his help they will rejoice. You have put them to shame. No, this can't hook to that. Yet you rejected us and brought us to dishonor. And do not go out with our armies. You will cause. Now, if I put the word you will cause us to turn away, it's a very important word going in here for the simple fact, if he's not with them, he will cause them to turn away from their adversaries. Now just hang in there with me on that, because coming down here, all this will come upon us. Not like this has happened. This will all this will. See, if that isn't there and this is here, and this is his will come upon us. Now at the presence of our enemy, all this will come upon us too. Us too. But we have not forgotten you, and not dealt falsely with your promise. Now that ties, and that's going to be the end of this one here. But I just wanted to put this into thought, why I did this. All this will come upon us, because this here, when you're reading it, I think it can be hooked. But you have rejected. We will give thanks to your name forever. Yet you are rejecting us. Because there's a lot of bad people on the land that aren't paying attention. But if the king has turned back and he's doing his best, because he told them that he will fight for them, so he wasn't with their armies, he was just with a few people that chased away the many. You will cause them to turn away from the adversary, and those who hate us will take spoil for themselves. Take us. They will take spoil for them, and those who hate us will take spoil for will take spoil for themselves. You will give us as rams to be slaughtered. Did I get that right? I think the U and A needs, no. Nope. Surprising myself. And scatter us among their nations. Among the nations, you cast us among the nations. For you would sell your people cheaply. Would, meaning this is what you would do if you were doing that, thinking that you, them thinking he would be selling off your people cheaply, then you would sell your people cheaply and not have profited by their sale. You then make us approach. Then you would whoops, I can see and you would make us a reproach to the neighbors, scuffing. I'm not leaving them extra long here too. They're not quick and short. and you make us a reproach to our neighbors. But the writer isn't writing that way. A scuffing and a desertion to those around us. See, if I divided that one here, I'd divide it the next time here. You make us a byword among their nations. A laughingstock among their people. All day my dishonor is before me. All day our dishonor. All day our dishonor is before me, and my humiliation has overwhelmed me. Being a king can't be able to take care of the problem here because of the voice of them who reproaches and reviles. Now at the presence of our enemy, all this will come upon us too. But we have not forgotten you, and we have not dealt falsely with your covenant. Our hearts have not turned away from you. Okay, I'm going to cut it there. Call that the end of this one, and we'll go into part 2. And I will see you on the other side.